quiet battle within you. Doubt yourself more than you admit. It's subtle, woven into the moments where hesitation lingers, in the choices you delay, the chances you let slip, the silent fears that whisper, maybe I'm not strong enough. The world does not see this battle. It does not witness the weight you carry in your mind, the second guessing, the way uncertainty has shaped your movements. But Epictetus would. He would remind you that strength is never about appearances. It is never about what others expect or about never feeling fear. It is about mastery of the self, about knowing that no circumstance, no hardship, no moment of doubt can dictate the truth about who you are. You were meant to endure. Even in your weakest moments, even when the path feels uncertain, even when fear grips your chest, you are still moving forward, and that is strength. Epictetus did not have an easy life. He was born into chains, lived through suffering most would crumble under, and yet he never saw himself as broken, because the world could strip away everything from him. But it could never take his mind, his resolve, his ability to rise above what was given to him, and neither can yours. So what if your doubts were never true? What if you have always been stronger than you thought? You simply needed to see it. This is the moment to realize it. This is the moment to step forward, because your mind is yours, your resilience is yours. And now, it's time to claim them. The root of fear and self-doubt, where doubt begins. You question yourself more than you realize. It doesn't happen all at once. It begins slowly, an uncertain thought, a hesitation, a voice in your mind that wonders, what if I'm not strong enough? Maybe it was a moment that made you feel small, a failure, a loss, a time when life demanded more from you than you thought you could give. And since that day, doubt has lingered, shadowing your steps, making you second-guess what you are capable of. Epictetus would tell you this: the limits you believe in are not real. They are only thoughts, temporary illusions formed by fear, strengthened by hesitation, but powerless the moment you choose to challenge them. The trap of false limitations. Seneca warned, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Most of your fears never come true. Most of the things that keep you awake at night, replaying worst-case scenarios, will never happen. Yet, they shape your actions. They keep you from taking steps forward, from trusting yourself, from seeing the strength that has always been there. Fear convinces you that you cannot endure. But the truth is, you have endured everything that has ever happened to you. You have survived every hard moment, every setback, every storm that felt like it might never pass. If fear were telling the truth, you would have broken long ago, but you didn't. So what if your doubt has never been real? Epictetus's challenge: see yourself clearly. Epictetus taught, circumstances don't make the man, they reveal him. What have your circumstances revealed about you? Have they shown weakness, or have they proven that you rise again and again even when life is difficult? You have been tested. You have been pushed to the edge of your strength, and yet you are still here. You are still moving. You are still standing. This is the truth. You are stronger than your doubt. You always have been. Now, will you see it? The discovery of strength. You have believed for too long that strength is something outside of you, something you must earn, something you must prove, something reserved only for those who never falter. But Epictetus understood something different. Strength is not given. It is not measured by how much power you hold, how much certainty you feel, or how unshaken you appear to others. True strength is revealed only in moments of struggle, when life presses against you, when doubt rises, when fear whispers that you are not enough. And yet, you endure. Perhaps you have never thought of yourself as strong. Perhaps you have carried fear and hesitation for so long that you have convinced yourself it must be true. But every time life has tested you, You continued. Every hardship, every setback, every moment of uncertainty, you faced them, you stood through them, and you are still standing now. And that is strength. Epictetus would not ask you to ignore fear, nor pretend doubt does not exist. He would ask only this: what have your challenges revealed about you? Because the world will never stop testing you. Life will never stop asking you to show up, to endure, to rise beyond circumstances. But when hardship arrives, when adversity pushes against you, you have a choice. You can believe the lie that you are weak, or you can see the proof that has been in front of you all along. This is the moment of realization. This is where doubt meets truth, where fear meets resilience, and where you begin to see that, perhaps, you were always stronger than you thought. Now step forward, because what comes next will reveal more than you ever believed possible. And when it does, you will not break. You will rise, just as you always have. Epictetus's journey, how he found power in adversity, a life that began in chains. Imagine being born into a world where you have no control, where your existence is dictated by another's will, where freedom is not yours to claim, where hardship is not an obstacle but a daily reality. Epictetus did not choose this life. He was born a slave, bound to circumstances that would have crushed the spirit of most men. He knew suffering, not as a passing moment, but as a constant presence, and yet, he refused to see himself as powerless. Even as a slave, he recognized the one thing that could never be taken from him: his mind. And it was within his mind that Epictetus built his own form of freedom, one that no master, no hardship, no circumstance could ever strip away. The moment of realization. Pain was nothing new to Epictetus. He lived under cruelty, enduring abuse from those who saw him as nothing more than property. At one point, his master twisted his leg so violently that it broke. Yet instead of pleading, instead of begging for mercy, Epictetus remained calm. He simply said, "You are going to break my leg." And when the moment of pain finally came, his response was just as measured. "I told you so." It was not indifference. It was acceptance, the understanding that suffering was inevitable, but how he met that suffering was within his control. His body could be broken, but his mind remained untouchable. And in that moment, Epictetus was freer than the man who held him captive. What true power looks like. Most believe that strength comes from control, over wealth, over status, over the ability to shape the world as one pleases. But Epictetus had none of these things, and yet he was more powerful than those who ruled over him. Because true power is not found in domination, it is found in mastery of the self. Epictetus understood what most people never realize. You cannot control what happens to you. You cannot prevent hardship, loss, or pain. But you can control how you meet it, and that choice, that ability to stand firm regardless of circumstances, is where real strength lives, the freedom that cannot be taken. Eventually, Epictetus gained his physical freedom. He was released from slavery, allowed to step into the world as a free man. But by then, he already knew the truth. He had always been free. His mind had never been shackled. His ability to think, to reflect, to rise above suffering had existed long before his chains were removed. And now, he passed that wisdom on to others. He taught that adversity does not weaken you. It reveals you. That freedom is not given. It is created within, and that no matter what life takes from you, it can never touch the strength you build within yourself. What this means for you. Think about your own struggles. The moments where life pressed against you, where hardship arrived without mercy, where fear convinced you that you could not endure. And yet, you are still here. You have survived everything that has come before this moment. You have faced pain, uncertainty, loss, And you have continued. What does that reveal about you? Epictetus would tell you this: strength has never been outside of you. It has always been yours. You simply needed to see it. So now, will you? Will you choose to stand firm, not because life is easy, but because you are capable? Will you recognize that control over the external world was never yours to have, but control over your own mind is yours entirely? Because in that realization, you will find the same freedom Epictetus discovered. And in that freedom, you will see the truth. You were always stronger than you thought. You simply needed to believe it. What strength really means, it's not what you think. The quiet strength that lives within you. You have spent years believing that strength is something visible, something proven, something admired, something that stands tall in the face of adversity without ever bending. But Epictetus would tell you that true strength is not loud, it is not boastful, it does not seek recognition. Real strength lives in the moments where fear is strongest, where doubt whispers in your ear, where hardship presses against you, and yet you still choose to continue. It is not about never feeling weak. It is about choosing not to be ruled by weakness. It is not about avoiding difficulty. It is about learning to stand firm within it, and that is something you have already done, again and again, in ways you may not even realize. Strength is not avoiding pain. It is moving through it. Most people think strength means never breaking, never showing vulnerability, never struggling. But Epictetus, a man who lived through pain, rejection, and adversity, taught differently. No man is free who is not master of himself. You do not have control over the world. You do not have control over how people treat you, over the hardships that may come, over the losses that arrive without warning, but you do have control over your mind, over how you respond, over whether you allow hardship to define you, or whether you use it as proof that you are far stronger than it assumes. You have met difficulties before, and what did they reveal? That you endured, that even when you felt broken, you carried on, that even when doubt told you to stop, you moved forward anyway. The world does not determine your strength. You do. You are already stronger than you know. Think about your hardest moments. The losses that felt unbearable, the choices that seemed impossible, the nights when your thoughts whispered that you would not recover from this, that this pain, this fear, this uncertainty was too much. But what happened? You survived. Maybe you did not heal overnight. Maybe you carried the weight for longer than you wanted, but you did not give up. Epictetus would tell you that this ability to withstand, to endure, to push forward even when the road is unclear, is the purest form of strength. Not the kind that demands attention, not the kind that pretends to be invincible, but the kind that simply refuses to stop. Your strength has always been yours. Now see it. You do not need permission to believe in your resilience. You do not need the world to tell you that you are strong, because strength is not proven by words. It is revealed through action, through endurance, through the quiet, steady persistence that has carried you through every storm without fail. And now, it is time for you to recognize what has always been true. You are stronger than you think. You always were. You simply needed to see it. And now, perhaps finally, you do. So now, the only question left is this: will you accept the truth? Will you own your strength? Will you live as Epictetus did, not waiting for life to make things easier, but standing firm regardless? Because the moment you do, you will never doubt yourself again. And that is where freedom begins. That is where true power lives. And it has always been yours. Now take it, now live it, now begin. You have already overcome more than you realize, the silent evidence of your strength. Think back to the hardest moment in your life. The day when everything felt uncertain, when you weren't sure if you would make it through. When fear settled deep inside you, whispering that this might be the moment that finally breaks you. But it didn't. You endured it. You moved forward even when it felt impossible, even when the weight was too heavy, even when you thought you wouldn't last. You did. And yet, you rarely acknowledge the strength that got you here. You tell yourself that it was luck, or circumstance, or time doing its work. You fail to see the quiet power you carried, the resilience that kept you standing, the will that refused to let go. Epictetus understood this deeply. He taught that strength is not something we wait for. It is something we prove through every hardship we face. And you have already proven it, again and again. Your past struggles were not failures. They were proof. Most people look back on their struggles and see weakness. They remember the days of doubt, the moments of hesitation, the nights when everything felt overwhelming. But Epictetus would ask you to look again. He would tell you that every difficulty you have faced is evidence, not of defeat, but of survival. It is difficulties that show what men are, not easy moments, not quiet victories. Hardship. Because when the world pressed against you, you did not collapse, you did not surrender, you made it through. And that is proof of strength, not weakness. You are stronger than your doubt. It is easy to believe the voice in your mind that says, "I am not enough, I am not ready. I cannot handle this." But that voice has been wrong before. It told you the same things years ago, and yet you still endured. You still moved forward. Your doubt has never been the truth. Epictetus would tell you this. The only thing that matters is what you do next. Do you continue believing the lie that you are weak, or do you recognize the reality that you have already proven your strength again and again? What this means for your life today. You are standing at the threshold of another challenge. Another moment where fear whispers that this time things might be different, that this time you might not have what it takes. But you have heard this voice before. And every time you have proven it wrong. So now it is time to ask yourself, what happens when you stop believing the doubt? What happens when you finally see yourself clearly? When you finally recognize that you have already been strong all along? The answer is simple. You move forward, not with hesitation, but with certainty. Not with fear, but with resilience. Not wondering if you will endure, but knowing, without question, that you will, because you always have. And now you finally see it, you finally know it, and in that knowledge you are free. Free to trust yourself, free to step forward, free to never question your strength again. Because it was always there, and now you claim it fully. Unshaken, without doubt, for the first time, and forever. The choice to see yourself differently. You have spent years believing a version of yourself shaped by doubt, hesitation, and the weight of past failures. You have measured strength in ways that dismiss your own resilience, thinking it belongs only to those who never break, never struggle, never feel fear. But Epictetus would ask you, what if everything you assumed about yourself was wrong? You have endured storms that would have shattered others. You have carried burdens that felt unbearable. And yet, you are still here, still standing, still moving forward, even when it feels slow, even when you question yourself. Strength does not arrive in grand gestures. It does not exist only in those who show no fear. It exists quietly, within every moment that you refuse to quit, within every step you take despite uncertainty, within every hardship you survive. Now you have a choice. You can continue believing the old narrative, the one that tells you that you are not strong enough, not ready, not capable, or you can finally, fully see yourself clearly. See the truth that strength has always been yours. See the proof that doubt has always been wrong. See the power that exists within you, waiting for you to claim it. And once you do, once you finally recognize your own resilience, you will move through life differently. You will meet challenges with calm. You will face fear without letting it define you. You will stand, not because the world is easy, but because you know, without question, that you are stronger than anything it brings, because you have already proven it. Now, will you see it? Will you claim it? Will you live by it? Because this is your choice. And in that choice, everything changes. This sets up a powerful moment of realization, preparing the viewer for the next sections that guide them deeper into personal reflection and transformation. Would you like me to continue writing the following segments? Reframing struggle as growth. The meaning hidden within hardship. You have spent years trying to avoid struggle, trying to outrun pain, sidestep difficulty, stay in places that feel familiar and safe. But Epictetus would tell you that avoiding hardship does not protect you, it weakens you. It keeps you from discovering the depth of your own strength, because struggle is not the enemy, it is the teacher. Every challenge that is pressed against you, every obstacle that has forced you to change, every painful moment that has asked more of you than you thought you could give. These are not just tests, they are transformations. And the question is not whether you will experience hardship. That is inevitable. The real question is whether you will use it to grow or let it defeat you. Why difficulty shapes you. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." You do not become strong by avoiding weight. You become strong by carrying it. Your mind works the same way. Struggle forces you to think, adapt, endure. It reveals the places within you that are resilient, the parts of yourself you did not realize were capable of enduring more than you thought possible. Without hardship, you remain untested. But every difficulty you have faced has sharpened you, refined you, made you stronger in ways you could never have achieved by staying comfortable. Growth is uncomfortable, but discomfort is proof that you are evolving. What if pain is not the end, but the beginning? Most people believe that pain is something to survive, something to get through so they can return to life as it once was. But Epictetus offers something different. What if pain is not a detour, but the actual path? What if the moments where life tests you are not interruptions, but exactly what you needed to step into the person you were meant to become? Pain does not just end, it transforms. And if you allow yourself to learn from it, to see the lesson instead of just the suffering, you will no longer fear hardship, you will use it. How to embrace struggle without resistance. Choose to see growth instead of difficulty. Hardship will come whether you want it or not. The choice is whether you fight against it or step forward into it willingly. Stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What can I learn?" Struggle is not personal. It is not punishment. It is simply part of life. And if you are willing to see the lesson instead of the suffering, you will never experience hardship the same way again. Remember that growth feels hard because it is working. If struggle feels uncomfortable, it is because change is happening. And in that discomfort, in that challenge, you are becoming someone new, someone stronger, the power that comes with perspective. Epictetus did not escape hardship. He met it. He accepted it. He used it to forge himself into something unbreakable, and now so can you. Because the next time struggle arrives, you will not see it as punishment. You will see it for what it truly is, proof that you are growing. And when you realize that, hardship will no longer scare you. It will strengthen you. It will refine you. It will turn you into something you never imagined you could be. And that is real power. That is real freedom. and it has always been waiting for you. Now, will you step forward into it? Will you allow struggle to transform you? Will you see difficulty not as an enemy, but as the guide that was always meant to lead you forward? Because once you do, nothing will shake you, not ever again. And that is what it means to truly be strong, unshaken, untouched, unbreakable. Finally, fully, forever. Closing reflection. Will you accept this truth? The moment of recognition. You have heard the words. You have felt their weight. Now, the choice is yours. Epictetus did not ask you to blindly accept his philosophy. He did not ask you to ignore your struggles or pretend that life would always be fair. He only asked one thing: to look honestly at yourself, at your mind, at your past, and see the truth that has been there all along. You are stronger than you think. You have already endured more than you give yourself credit for. You have carried burdens, faced hardship, met fear, and yet you are still here. This is not a question of if you can endure. It is a question of whether you will finally recognize that you already have. The lies that keep you stuck. Your mind has been shaped by stories of doubt, stories of hesitation, stories that tell you that strength is something other people have, but not you. You have believed the lie that fear means weakness, the lie that struggle means failure, the lie that if you are afraid, uncertain, shaken, you must not be strong enough. But Epictetus would tell you differently. He would tell you that strength is proven only in moments of hardship, not when life is easy, but when it is difficult, not when you feel certain, but when you choose to move forward despite uncertainty. And now you must ask yourself, what happens if you stop believing the lies? A new way to see yourself. Imagine meeting every challenge with calm, not because fear does not exist, but because it no longer controls you. Imagine stepping forward, not with hesitation, but with conviction, knowing that no matter what lies ahead, you will endure it as you always have. This is what Epictetus meant by mastery of the self. This is the strength that no circumstance can take from you. This is the clarity that comes when doubt no longer holds power over you. And now, it is yours to claim, the choice that stands before you. There are two paths in front of you. One leads backward, to the old ways of thinking, to fear dictating your actions, to doubt keeping you small. The other leads forward, to unshaken confidence, to quiet resilience, to the understanding that nothing in this world has the power to break you unless you allow it to. Epictetus would not beg you to choose strength. He would only remind you, it is difficulties that show what men are. Now, what will your difficulties reveal? Will they show hesitation, or will they show the truth that you are unshaken, untouchable, stronger than you ever believed possible? That choice is yours. And in that choice, everything changes. So step forward, not tomorrow. Not when things feel easier, now, because life will not wait. And neither should you. This moment, this exact moment is yours. Claim it. Own it. Live it. Finally. Fully. Without hesitation, without fear. Because you are ready, more than you think, more than you know. And once you accept that, you will never be the same again. Final message: step forward into strength the moment you decide who you are. There comes a point where you must stop searching, stop hesitating. Stop asking whether you are strong enough to endure what lies ahead, because strength is not something waiting for you in the future. It is not a destination. It is not something others possess while you are left wondering whether you will ever reach it. It is already within you. You have carried it all along, through doubt, through hardship, through every moment that felt uncertain. The proof of your resilience is not something you need to seek. It is something you need to see. because you have already survived more than you thought you could. And yet, you are still standing. So now, will you recognize it? Fear will not stop you unless you let it. You will feel fear. Doubt will return. There will be moments when hesitation creeps in, whispering the same old question, what if I am not ready? But Epictetus taught one truth above all others. Fear is powerless unless you believe it. Circumstances will change. Hardships will come and go. But the thing that never changes, the thing that remains no matter what life throws at you, is your ability to choose how you respond. Fear does not define you. Your choices do. And strength is a choice. What happens when you accept your own power? Imagine moving through life knowing, without hesitation, that you can handle whatever comes next. Imagine stepping into challenges with clarity, not because they are easy, but because you no longer doubt your ability to meet them. This is the shift that changes everything. Epictetus did not become strong because life was kind to him. He became strong because he refused to let circumstances dictate his mind. And now, that same strength, that same resilience, that same unwavering power is within you. You have already proven it, so now will you finally own it? Step forward, not with fear, but with certainty. The world does not wait. Life will continue moving with or without your permission. The only question left is whether you will move with it, not as someone trapped by doubt, but as someone who meets every moment with unshaken resolve. Because strength has always been yours. You simply needed to see it, and now you do, so step forward. Not tomorrow, not when things feel easier, now. Because this moment, it belongs to you, and it always has. Now, own it. Now, live it. Now, begin. Fully, fearlessly. Finally. Conclusion, your next step forward. You have heard the wisdom of Epictetus. You have reflected on your own resilience. You have seen the truth that strength is not something waiting in the future, but something you have already proven time and time again. Now there is only one thing left: action. The words you have heard today mean nothing unless they are lived. The realization that you are stronger than you thought only matters if you begin to move through life differently because of it. So take this philosophy beyond reflection. Make it something that shapes your choices, your mindset, your every step forward. And if this journey of inner strength and Stoic wisdom speaks to you, subscribe to Stoic philosophy, because the path ahead is not easy. But with the right mindset, with the right understanding, with the right practice, nothing in this world will ever break you. The journey begins now. Step forward, step into the life that is waiting for you. And never hesitate again, because you know the truth, and now you live it. Unshaken, unbreakable, finally, fully, forever. Subscribe now and take your next step into real strength.